guys, welcome to Comfy Cozy Up. Yes, we are officially in September, and so I'm going to be telling you all the books that I read in August. Yeah, August. I read 9 books, and I reviewed pretty much all of them except for I believe it's 2 that I did not review. So I won't go that much in detail because these videos are dedicated to reading vlog for. So I go in detail on what I liked and much more about the storyline in those videos. I will link them all in the description and you can go check them out. So we are going to start with Trust. And this is one of the bookers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did read 5 Booker. 6 Booker, sorry. 6 Booker this month. So I'm up to 8th. And I did recently got the 2 more, so I will dedicate the weekend to reading at least one of them. Alright, Trust Hernandez Diaz, and this is a story that I feel you have to read the entire book to really get it, because it's just like puzzle pieces, and when you get to the end everything kind of makes sense. It is has suspense and a bit of mystery to it that keep you wanting to know more. Because of how it's written, there are moments where it grips you, and then there's moments where you're just like, yeah, or in my case, scratch your head. This is about a business tycoon and his wife, and they were known to pretty much escape certain falls of the Wall Street industry, and they're very wealthy, and but again, nothing is really known about them besides the little bits that they show the world. In this case, you have the wife who had died. You don't know exactly what she died from, and there was a book written that gave a not so great impression of the husband, and he did not like it, so he commissioned someone to write the story that he wants to present. So there's that bit of facts and flawed and lies and all that goes around, but you get it in 4 parts, and the last part is where you really get to sum up why certain things was happening in the book. Now, it is a complicated read because it's not traditionally written in a way that will that you expect from this kind of storyline, but I like that writing style. I did like that that complicated part of the writing style that made it different, not just what you would typically expect from this kind of storyline. So I'm not sure if this is going to end up in the top 6, to be honest, but I do think that it is one of those books that you won't forget because of how the kind of writing style and the journey it takes you on, but we'll see. Then the next book is one of the most beautiful writing style, and this is Maps of Our Spectacular Bodies, and this one I thought was just very, very poetic. The writing style is very scripted and poetic. It reads that way, and it's about a woman who is terminally ill, and she has fought cancer before, and it came back now aggressive, and she knows her time is coming to. And so it's written in a way where your body is narrating your life in that moment, and you're thinking about the past, the present, your relationship with your husband, relationship with your child, and all these things that you are wondering, and what you expect when someone who is dealing with something like this and knowing the end is near. I didn't feel like it as strong as the other books that I've read, but nevertheless there were some quotable moments in this book that I would definitely write down in one of my junk journals, because there's so many in this that I felt like yeah, that the author really knew how to get your emotion involved when you think of death, and you think of living, and you think of family and regret, and how you envision what your life could have been, that kind of deal. So I really thought this was nice, and writing wise, but as far as the comparing to other books, I'm not sure. We'll see. The next book I read because of one of the booker, and that is Animal Farm and George Orwell. So I knew I need to read one of his books at some point, because you can see up here I have 1984 is right here, and I've yet to read that. So and so I felt like, why have I waited this long to read this book? I love this, and I love that he used animal in terms of talking about a society, governing your own society, making your own rules, and how it can be manipulated by people who are want power and control and that kind of deal. And it gives you the feel for it for when I had to go into the next book. And my eyes, guys. Woo. The next book now is Glory, and this is Violet Bulawayo. And this one is just absolutely entertaining. Absolutely entertaining. I was freaking hollering at certain parts of this, but it is a very powerful, and I do mean powerful, storyline. Ooh. Pause on this. Alright, sorry guys. I have a lot of light on me, and I haven't had this much light in a while, so sorry about that. So let's get back to this. Alright. I thought it was very powerful, and you really get the basically how history just constantly repeats itself when you think of certain things that's happening in this. I was very entertained by the animals selected to represent certain characters. You know, the donkey, the old horse, the cat, the sheep, the goat, you know, the crocodile. It made it very entertaining, because you're just thinking, oh my god. But there's you know, a metaphor for all of those animals and why they were selected. And I really thought this was such a powerful. The writing style in this is a yes for me. There's also a character in this that had this moment where she is telling writing and using words to express the moment of how her family is connected to the revolution that happened, and that powerful moment where she is reading and things are happening to her, and is she just continuing. I was like, oh, that was just like, yes. And it really touched on basically the world in terms of the different kind of political influence different countries and different regions have on each other, and the shenanigans, and even when they talk about the U.S. in this, because the author is from Zimbabwe, and you know, so that political unrest in that country, but it's also influence and on other countries, and other countries can relate to this. It can relate to when politicians trying to get in power, and the shenanigans that they do to manipulate and to encourage people to vote for them. That's a lot of countries that experience that. So I thought this was interesting, and I was here for it. This was so good. I really enjoyed this. And the next one is short and sweet. And this is Small Things Like These, and Claire Keegan, and this one is that paid forward kind of vibe book, but it's the writing, it's just absolutely beautiful. This is a book that will stay with you because the message is very clear in this and very much necessary, and how we can look at what we can do to play our part in protecting others and helping others, that kind of deal. It is one of those traditional, to me, modern classic writing style with the open ending, where you are thinking what is going to happen next, kind of deal. And I appreciate that. You know, I read a lot of Harlem Renaissance, so this kind of writing style was like, yeah, give it to me, give it to me. Absolutely love this. Worth reading. It is very short, so you have no excuse. Pick it up and read it. The next one is The Colony, and yeah, don't know what that is. And this one is Audrey McGee, and this one is I don't like the ending. I don't care. I don't care. I get it. I absolutely get it. I get the whole. Yeah. Nothing is shocking about what happened as far as the ending. Y'all know English people. Yeah. It's set in 1979. So you have this artist, and he is on the coast of the island in Ireland, and he is basically, you know, there to get the vibes and inspiration to do art, and because he's a struggling artist, and he gets inspiration, all right, and took advantage, all right. And this poor man who's there, he is amongst people who want to hold on to their heritage, their roots. They don't want to confine to what the English expect them to do. They want to keep their you know, their culture intact and not. But of course, people are leaving, and the more people leave, the less things are going to be remain the same. So you have this young man who have this desire to be more than what is expected of him, of the lifestyle of most men in that area. But he's gifted. He has the art as well, and he is very inspired by this author who's, you know, landed on this island, and inspiration he's getting. And there's things that's happening in this where you're just like scratching your head like this is my face every time I think about this book. Literally, I'm like, you know, but it is very much, yeah, typical, yeah. Yeah, the ending, I'm still like, so I'm gonna respond. Go check out my review, because I can't even be serious with this one. And then we have The Beast, the last book that I reviewed, last vlog that I did. And I am a huge fan of historical fiction, and this gives me everything. Everything. This is Booth, and this is a story that is very much a part of the U.S. history, and it follows a family, and you're getting their stories and everything, and then you get what the connection is towards the end. But how it's written, you really are in their world. You are learning about about a man who's an actor, and he has a wife, and they're popping kids out left, right, and center. And these kids, especially the older kids, are of course taking on the responsibility of being parents and taking care of their younger siblings, and different route each take, but also how they were influenced by their parents, how things that happened to them are the direct impact because of their parents' recklessness, especially the father who is a drunk, and the son who pretty much had to help take care of him because he couldn't he couldn't basically control himself out there, and he himself turned into like his father. And you have siblings who are see how their family are, their parents are, don't want no part of that, which is like the oldest daughter. You have another daughter who saw what she wanted, and then when things happened for her in the way that she intended it to happen, in a sense, fair childbirth, fair that kind of lifestyle that she ultimately became like her mother. Then you have siblings that are like, oh, no one talks about them really or even mention them because they're like the sibling that just there. Then you have the one that completely destroyed the family name, and you see the connection that he has. Because I'm such a history person and I love historical fiction, I was really soaking this up. This book had me researching things after I was finished reading it, and had me an aha moment because I'm like, how did I not know that kind of deal? But it is a really well written historical fiction. It is heavy on historical fiction, so if you're not a big fan of historical fiction, you might struggle with this. But I never had that I'm bored moment or I'm not feeling it. I was in it from the beginning. Something about it grabbed me from the beginning. I'm just that person that if you give me some historical fiction with some timeline that I find fascinating, I'm gonna be with you in the book, that kind of deal. And that's how I felt And I really, I'm hoping to get to the 6. I can't really give you my opinion on if I think it's a winner, but because I'm saving that for when I read all of them. But I love this. It gave me the feel as some of the other books where I'm like, I will never forget this at all. This is one of those memorable books that I will read. I will read it. I will read it again. That's how I felt about it. It's a chunky one, but I got a lot out of it, and I very much was entertained. So those are the physical books. So now let's talk about the 2 romances I did read. And we are going to start with Implied Consent. And this book I felt was very much 2 individuals who are having to start over for various reasons. We have a female, and Skylar, she is an attorney, a sports attorney. So she's used to seeing and having to pull athletes out of their mess. And she dated someone who was a part of the firm that she was with, and it didn't work out. So of course she got kicked to the curb, and she lost her job. But she also was tied into a contract that also prevented her from working for anybody else because they knew how good she was. Then you have an athlete who had to give up his career because of a scandal that was not true, but in public opinion, he was considered to be what was said about him. And so he started having his restaurant or business, and that's how he met Skylar. I like this because I like how, as a lawyer, she knew her the environment she was in, so she did not just judge him initially about anything, and she didn't snoop to find out more about him, because she also knew what's written in the media doesn't mean that it is true, and she's very much in that world to know that. So I like how they bond, how they got to know each other, and I like the little twist of how she found out things about him that was written that was not so great, and how they handle it, the family bond that they have with and the friendships that they have, and how they come together. This was such a sweet. I definitely want to read the second book. There's a follow-up for it for I believe it's the Skylar's brother, and his storyline I heard is even much better than this one. I'm definitely going to pick it up. But my God, when I saw how much they want to charge for an ebook, I said, when did we get this kind of price for ebooks? That's the reason why I didn't read it, guys. But I really want to, but that's going to have to wait until they drop that. So, or unless I get some more, points to use on some of these books. But yeah. And then the last one that I read was Unconditional. And this one was a bit slow at some point, but it's about a very much a character that I can relate to, because I've had that issue, which is abandonment issue. And when you are dealing with that, you often are the runner. You often are the person that will end that relationship real quick with no problem. So I read this initially starting like, oh God, here go my character, here go me on the pages, that kind of deal. And there is that issues that I had with this, where when we get to a certain point where there's these 2 characters who were had like a fling like about 2 years ago. They were having a good old summertime, and when at the end of summer one wanted to pursue a long-term relationship while the other one did not. So you learn why, in this case, because of the abandonment issue, why she felt she wasn't good enough to continue this relationship, and what she had to do with those 2 years to really help herself and get the counseling that she needs, deal with her problem. You get all of that in this, which I really appreciate that the author did that, because you really when you especially when you have abandonment issue, in my case, you don't even realize you had it until somebody pointed out. And I got pointed out when I went to counseling. So it was that aha moment. I'm like, oh damn, I have that issue. Because I didn't know, I didn't realize that's what it was, which I think contributed to my whole personality of being an introvert, who's not a person who doesn't get attached to people. I rarely ever get attached to people, because I just always feel like, okay, they're gonna disappoint me at some point, so I don't really get attached to people, which is probably why I'm still single. We're working through this, guys. We're I can do this. But I love books like this that I can see myself on the pages and being able to analyze certain things and see what I can get from it. You learn so much sometimes from romance novel that you really don't expect, but it's there. And this one was it. I just felt like there's certain areas a little slow, but I do like that the fact that one of the character is Haitian, so there has the Caribbean feel to it, and they went to Haiti. And they went to this, in the book you get to see the part of Haiti no one talks about, the beautiful part, the tropical part of the island that is very beautiful, like any other Caribbean island. They have lovely beaches and houses and all that. You don't get to see that, but it exists in Haiti. All of Haiti is not just, they always show the destroyed area. No, there are paradise looking parts of Haiti, and I like that the author did that and have a character who went there and showed her that part. He showed her that part of his island. So I thought that was nice. I was here for it. Anyway, so I am going to end this here, and I am hopefully going to read some more books. I have some more bookers to finish and some other books that I want to get into, some classics. I want to go back to some Harlem Renaissance, some Victorian stuff that I am hoping to read in September and October, because November I typically only read maybe 4 books, so because that's all I do, a lot of writing. So again, this is going to be September. If you watch my previous video where I talked about, I will have videos on Tuesdays now, but they're going to be random videos. That's going to be more of writing, craft. If I do read a book, it will be on the events that I go to, that kind of deal. And then we'll just have our regular reading vlog, or regular Saturday videos as well. So join me and watch my video. Give me all the feels, the love, the likes, all that good stuff. And thanks again for getting me to the 3K mark. And I really, really appreciate it. So I'll see you in the next one, guys.